Ahoy there, mateys, and welcome aboard Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. I'm your captain, Jimbob Oval Shorts, and welcome back, everyone. Sorry for the bit of hiatus, but it's getting warm down here in the south, and I've been staying busy, keeping not only my kids entertained, but myself entertained. So I decided to pop back on here, though, guys, and give you guys an update and continue things with the show, of course. We're past episode 200. This is episode 201. Thank you all for all the views over there for episode 200. That was pretty awesome. I was excited to see an uptick in everything and everybody checking back in on us. So we'll be as regular as we can, you guys, but things aside, life is life, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it, but got some fun stuff planned for you this evening. So wherever you're tuning in over there, whether it be Twitter, whether it be Rumble, YouTube, or Odyssey, welcome aboard, and we look forward to having a great time with you this evening. Of course, joining me tonight is going to be the one and only Neptune.
The Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
Welcome, buddy. Welcome. How are you doing this evening?
Pretty good, man. How's it going?
It's fantastic. I'm so excited that you were able to join us this evening. And I know you're busy as well, man. So I appreciate you being able to have a little bit of time to come and hang out with us and talk about nonsense and things going on in the world. So
always a good time.
Always a good time. So I was talking to you beforehand, and I totally have one more special guest that's going to be joining us this evening. And, I don't even really know how to explain it, but I do know that this dude is probably known worldwide, and like he's an international superstar straight from Japan. So it's pretty awesome to have something that cool. And I don't know how I pulled this off, but I figured it'd be a good time to have the one and only Shiba Inu joining us this evening. How are you doing, Shiba? This is going to be fantastic. Don't you agree, Neptune?
That's good.
So, I just figured it'd be fun for another head to join us in here since everybody else is busy tonight, and I always just like to have that extra. And, I've been playing around with some stuff, and this was my first creation, so it might not be the best, but I think we'll do all right with it. So, you guys, I hope you're entertained with our extra special guest this evening, because why not? So, man, Clown World has been, clowning around as normal.
There's just so much going on right now. It's like I disconnect from social media for a week, and I wake up to an Appalachian dumpster fire, because that's like, I don't know a better word to use for it.
Well, I since I have been kicked off of Facebook for the 24th time, I have just not been really back on social media. I apologize to everybody over there on like Instagram and Twitter. I try to post, but it's just not as easy as it is when I was hanging out on Facebook. And TikTok, of course, has me in a grind as well. So I too just kind of play with YouTube Shorts, because I don't have to interact there, and it's totally fun to troll people on YouTube.
I don't know. It's like, for me, it's always waxed and waned, but it's like I've hit a creative writer's block with making memes. That one today, bullying the hell out of Chipotle with you and Bandit in the group chat, that was the news I was here for. Like, the strongest Chipotle fanboy versus the single weakest Moe's Southwest Grill enjoyer is like that. Chipotle going into a free fall, I'm not sad about it. Chipotle's always been, as far as Tex-Mex goes, Chipotle's always been bottom rung of the totem pole as far as I'm concerned.
Not only Chipotle, but we also have Starbucks in a free fall, as well as overnight, about 200 Red Lobsters locked the doors, and they're filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy this week.
Yeah, it's weird times
So
for sure.
so I'm a torn person. A lot of people are like, but the jobs. And, yes, I'm sorry that you lost your job. 100%. I've been there. I understand. But at the same time, aren't these corporations what's had a grasp on not only our government, but our own balls for the past, I don't know, 50 years as they've expanded into the conglomeration that they've become?
Yeah, and for the real shame of this, hardworking people are going to lose their jobs over these closures. And as Luis is here with us in spirit, as he's following us over on YouTube right now, I see that over in the feed. Hey, Luis. The grim reality is that the companies who are filing Chapter 11 bankruptcy will continue to bail out their executives with their golden fucking parachute.
There it is.
We're 7 minutes in, first F-bomb. Sorry about that.
You're okay.
But it's like that. So there's no consideration for the bottom line. These people are expected to go file for unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
And they're making what's the unemployment rule? 75% of what you made on your hourly wage is what you'll wind up taking home. Mm-hmm. Businesses that pay servers specifically, use Red Lobster in this example, since they're likely going to completely restructure until someone offers to buy them out. For them, I don't know what unemployment actually looks like, but
for servers,
I can't imagine $2.13 amounts to much on an unemployment check.
So I've been a server before and been part of a closure where the restaurant just closed down. There was nothing you could do about it, and you're better off standing on the corner trying to sell your butthole than you are trying to go and get unemployment. That's really with any restaurant job, honestly, because restaurants are the utmost impossible to go collect unemployment from, because they either force you to quit or they fire you underneath some kind of terms that breaks a contract, and they don't have to give you unemployment. I've experienced quite a bit in the restaurant world on the management side, and it sucks ass.
And in these cases where the circumstances were beyond the restaurant's control and they were forced to still close, they've buffered themselves by offering this dog shit $2.13 or whatever it is. I don't remember the exact number. I'd have to ask my wife. I don't remember what that exact number was, but she was a server at one point, so she knows. But in the scheme of that, it's like you're still not going to draw a damn thing off of that, and it's depressing because you basically said, oh yeah, you don't get a severance package, go file for unemployment, good luck.
And a lot of times they'll tell you, well, it's easy to go find another server job, and I mean it in some cases maybe, but Red Lobster, if I'm not mistaken, is in the same family as Applebee's, Longhorn,
I was
O'Charlie's, and O'Charlie's just recently started closing a bunch of their stores as well too.
And so that does bring me to a good point, because on one of my drunken scrolls through Wikipedia one evening a while ago, I was actually looking up who owns them, and they are Union Group is who currently owns them, and they own John West, which is big in Europe. Chicken of the Sea, they own that brand. They own Red Lobster, and some other European and APAC interests. Prior to that, they were owned by a large U.S.-based one, the Darden Group, and they had collaborated with Olive Garden, Longhorn, Cheddar's, and a bunch of the Darden family restaurants, Season 52, Bahama Breeze, Yard House, all those. Amber's Chris. But yeah, so they divested Red Lobster. That happened. Yeah, they definitely don't sell lobster, that's for sure. But yeah, so the company that currently owns them, I guess they've run into the same problem. I guess reality here is probably sinking in. I guess Red Lobster is just not that profitable. I guess that's what it boils down to. But it stands to reason that the shareholders with investments in this company absolutely did not give any warning to their staff. I bet my bottom dollar on that.
Oh, for sure. Not only did they not give warning to their staff and stuff, but a point that you made is that all these higher ups, not only do they have other investments
They'll
and
get
such that their fingers are in.
they'll get their severance packages. They'll get their golden parachute.
No. My as somebody who's, I guess, worked on that side of things, something that I've always seen is that they always want, the goal is to always get more profit than before. So they're finding ways, and this is corporations across the board, not just restaurants, but they're always finding ways to cut down, cost for this, cost for that, cost for this. And they always focus on, whether it be you and I, if we're their employees, whether it be where their other stuff comes from, stuff like that. And they have all these outrageous markups. So if every company that I worked for every single year wanted to make more money than they made last year, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're already profiting millions of dollars. I guess a good example is I've worked for $2 million store restaurants, a Domino's Pizza that was $1 million store, and a Zaxby's Chicken that was $1 million store. I was the GM of both, and like, dude, they're the people that are up at the top just harp you. You can be the number one, number two store in the entire group, and like you're still
underperforming.
You're still underperforming. Yeah, right. You can have the best drive time. You can have the best out the door time for pizzas. You can have the best customer service, this, that, and the other. But because, say, you kept two employees on two different nights, 45 minutes after they should have been there because they were helping the store out or something like that, but you wanted to make sure they were paid, and you're not the kind of person that's going to clock them out and tell them to continue to work. You're like, no, bro, stay on the clock. Or another thing they hated about me was always feeding my employees, because when I'm the boss, no, my employees get to eat. Like they're there working for me. Like they don't have to pay for their food if they're there, and they hated that. I used to get that in my labor every time, even if it was as close as could be. They would chew me out about it, but every other number could be beyond perfect, and they could have made $1 million that year, but next year they want to make more than $1 million. And it's just like, dude, where's my cut of that $1 million? Like you're not, I'm the guy in here doing the work.
Yes, I haven't thought about that. And this is like,
and I'm not trying to sound common. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to sound common.
And I'm not either, for sure. But one thing that drives me absolutely bonkers with this is, I guess I can see where lean staffing has its advantages, but you eventually are going to hit a crux where if you are running so lean, you're going to hit bone, and it's to the point that you're expecting one person to do the work of five, and it's something that operational efficiency versus work productivity.
I'll take the blame. Like exactly what you're saying right there. I'll take the blame. And everybody that works for Zaxby's currently can, you can email the page or email the show and tell me how much you hate me for this. But when I worked there, they wanted me to do all of as much of the opening stuff as I could by myself.
Keep going. I'm gonna grab something.
As much of the you're fine. As much of the opening stuff, that I could do by myself as plausible, so that we could be open by 11 a.m. Well, back in the day, I grinded as hard as I could and figured out how to get the entire store prepped, ready, and open, because that store used to be legitimately fresh, not frozen with everything. And you had to go in there and prep everything down to cutting the onion rings and battering them and stuff and mixing sauces. And I got it down to a science and was doing it before 10 a.m. every single day. I was ready to go before 10 a.m. And because I mastered that, they started making the stores open at like 10:30, and like that was totally my fault. So I apologize to everybody out there that I did that for. But it's just, you go in there with this attitude of trying to be the best. At least I always have. Like I've always had, no matter what job I'm doing, I take pride in that job, and like I'm going to try to be, or I used to try to be the best there was at it. And in the end, that ruined like my mentality and a lot of things, because I did it in other places and other ways, and like finally come to a realization that if you're if you're trying to be the best, they're going to expect the best out of you, and they're never going to stop expecting
Yeah.
more out of you every single time. And
Yeah.
like I when we appliances is what it took for me to realize this. Okay, when I first started doing appliances, I was doing them in houses and new construction and stuff, and we only had so many things to do a day. And then when they moved me over and I started doing apartments, and I did my record-breaking 73 appliances in one day, they tried to basically force an average of 50 appliances a day on me. And people look at me and they're like, "How did you do that?" I'm like, "Well, you're in an apartment complex. A lot of them are in the same little spot, but like you just bust ass and hustle like that. There's just, I don't know, you work out a system. I can't explain it, but yes, you're absolutely
Yeah,
right, Luis. That's where
absolutely.
quiet quitting comes from, because like they don't acknowledge the work. They start treating you like this, that, and the other, and eventually you just kind of get tired of it and you just go poof.
I've been in
If
one. Yeah.
if you're like me, you do it. I did this to an O'Charlie's when I was younger. This was so bad. I was the I don't even know what to call me. I guess the maintenance guy of O'Charlie's, because I came in the morning and I had to like clean and mop and stuff like this before I could open the store. I did dishes. I did all the prep. I did dishes throughout the day and like kept prep going and stuff like that throughout the day, and
And there's a
trash and,
you
and
know
putting away the
there's a
truck and
there's a line in Mass Effect 2 about that. I love
and
quoting Mass Effect anytime,
I
any chance I get.
go for it.
So the guy, Commander Shepard, speaks to the mess sergeant in the chow hall. He says, "So the guy cleaning the latrines is the same guy cooking the meals."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Legitimately. And so, and like one day the day I was quitting, the day I was done, actually I already knew I was going to be done, because this is actually when I moved away from restaurants and moved on to appliances and stuff. But like I was I pulled into it was going to be my last Saturday there, and I pulled into the parking lot, and the crew from the night before had left trash bags beside the dumpster, not in the dumpster, and the street dogs from the city got into it and had scattered it across the entire parking lot. So I pulled into the parking lot and I stared at it for a minute, and I said, "You know what? Monday morning I start a new job. So fuck this." And I pulled off and went home. And my best friend at the time that worked there with me, he even tried calling me all day, and I just waited because I knew he'd come straight to my house after work, which he did. And I had us a joint ready, and I was like, "What's up, bud?" And he was like, "If you wanted our boss to call you every name under the sun, you succeeded at it." I was like, "Good." I was hoping so, because this dude was shorter than me and actually had a little man complex, and he was the head chef of the kitchen, so he was like the boss man. And I didn't get along with him, so I usually didn't work with him, and he got called in because I wouldn't show up. And it was great.
Man, that it got me thinking, kind of just, I guess, to round out this topic. And I'm not expecting or asking anyone to do the same as what I do today, but if anyone does, I certainly encourage somebody to take a lesson from what I have to say. So you and Bandit know, apart from some side gigs I've done over the years, IT has been my one and only profession for 20 years. It's been my whole life. It's one of the reasons I'm partially burned out on it some days.
Right.
Some days are better than others. But from where I've been and where I still am going for how many more years I have in this industry, now that I am in a position of leadership, where I am responsible for managing a fairly large team at this point, at least in contrast to the size of the company which we support, which is currently 450 people, and we're still growing. And there is a lot that's asked of us and our responsibilities for what we do. Um, Something I have tried to apply in my current job, which uh, being a manager in any capacity, I hope someone could take something away from this, is to, one, never ask anyone on your team to do anything you wouldn't be willing to jump in and do yourself.
Yes.
And secondly, when you have the ability to do so, and I guess in my case, I'm not saddled with enough red tape to sink an aircraft carrier. When you have the means of setting expectations, when you are coordinating large team collaboration and team driven projects, to set reasonable expectations and to not over exude the workload of what you expect of any one staff member to do, because even in what we do today with my team, which is currently 10 people, what we're expected to do is covering the wide berth, which is IT, and IT is very broad. So there's an expectation that I need, and I have a responsibility to jump in and take care of my people when we have stuff going on. If we've got something that they need help with, I will jump in to help them. But
Yeah.
I am also confident enough in their own abilities that they should be empowered to not be micromanaged, which I refuse to do. I don't want to be that person that's coordinating lean staffing, trying to analyze the picosecond of operational efficiencies to determine if one guy's $55,000 salary is worth what he's getting paid, because that's cost savings. And for a lot of companies, I know if they could replace every single person with an AI, they do it in a heartbeat. And all I can say to that, with what we've seen with the continued evolving of IT in making human based thought driven reasoning, good luck with that shit.
Well, now, I mean, now if you want to start talking about things that are thinking on a human base, like, I do gotta say, do you think that we need to worry about AI getting to a point that it starts thinking like humans, like this human, like? So I'm not sure if you guys heard about this or not, but apparently the castration club's alleged ringleader has been found and caught and is now going to be facing some prison time. So I read this entire article, and I guess I'd be willing to read it for you guys. If Luis was here, he would be encouraging me. So this guy is, I'm going to go ahead. The alleged ringleader of the British-based body modification club, responsible for the castrations of nearly 60 men, will spend at least the next 22 years behind bars. Over 6 years, UK officials allege that Norwegian-born Marius Gustavsson, who's 46, earned close to $250,000 through his website. The subscriber-only site featured footage of actual castrations of group members. This guy has pled guilty to 5 counts of causing grievous bodily harm with intent, and it is sentenced to a minimum of 22 years. Many of the members of the club had their healthy body parts, typically genitalia, removed surgically. Others damaged their own testicles in such a degree doctors had to amputate. And the group's faithful dubbed themselves nullos, like, nullification. And Gustav kept the loop body parts for consumption later time. Apparently, once cooking some, apparently once cooking some and laying them out as part of an artfully arranged salad platter. The dude is also
okay, Dr. Hannibal Lecter. God.
the dude. The dude has also admitted to freezing a man's leg so severely it had to be medically removed. And dude himself is in a wheelchair due to his own amputations, and which include his leg, penis, and part of a nipple removed by the group because they wanted to look like a Ken doll down there. Like, I listen. I know we all joke about things being absolutely insane, but
Christ.
what the clown show?
Yeah,
Like,
Jimmy, there, just for awareness, there's a non-zero probability that this is going. That article alone will get you a strike on YouTube. Christ. Yeah. What? I don't have words for that. Like, how messed up in the head do you have to be, really?
I'm gonna tell you something about me, Joe Rogan, that you might not know. I smoke rocks.
Yeah. Or psychotropic drugs. Jesus Christ.
I mean, I know there's a lot of messed up things in this world, like, but sometimes I wonder, just where does this stuff come from? Where do these people get some of these ideas, man? Like,
Never forget, and it will beg the question always, though it does beg two questions. Idaho is the only state in which cannibalism is outright illegal. So, question one is, what happened in Idaho that made that go into law? And second question is, why is it legal in all other 49 states?
Here's a better question. Why is there 16 states that it's still legal to have sex with animals? And the number of states that you're still allowed to marry your first cousin is disgusting.
Hey, FDR, let's go dig him out of his grave and ask him what's up.
That son of a bitch. You know I'm close enough. It's only like a 30, 45-minute ride. We can go over there and like poop on his little White House and stuff in Warm Springs, Georgia.
Oh yeah, forgot that was his house growing up. Jeez.
Take a big steamer right on his porch.
Yeah, that is also very true. Yeah, child marriage being legal in so many fucking countries is absolutely disgusting. And,
believe it or not, and I'm not for this. I'm not for this at all. In fact, I have daughters and have informed them that they got to be like 32 before they can date. But like, there's states in our own country that the legal age of consent is like 16 and 17. Even the state of Georgia actually is 17, and I'm not actually 100% okay with that. I know that they think they can make their own choices, but it's scientifically proven that their frontal lobe isn't even fully developed yet. So just throwing that out there. Like, I don't understand the infatuation with kids. I guess maybe because I have my own, so I don't understand it. But you don't. I mean, I know a lot of people who don't have kids who don't have an infatuation with kids. So what in the frig is this whole infatuation with children? And why can't we just bust out the wood chipper?
Yeah, fire up the wood chipper. Yeah,
like,
or fire up the one from the meme that I made that got me banned on Facebook a few years ago with the ditch witch.
Goddamn.
One other dumb law while I'm thinking about it though. There is a state where it is still legal to sentence someone to death by hanging if they steal your horse.
That's not bad. I mean, don't steal my horse, bro.
Yeah, don't steal my horse still, but yeah, it's an archaic law. Yeah, it's South Carolina.
Okay. All right, listen, now sometimes I'm okay with archaic laws. We've had, I don't know if you know about this going on, but we've had a handful of Stacey Abrams supporters, I'll call them, and like her district kind of supporters in different areas of the state that have been fighting really hard to get rid of an archaic law made back in Civil War time that says no one can own the waterway. And I kind of agree with this, archaic or not. I'm 100% against the idea of anyone being able to own the waterway as a river traveler myself. And like, that's a place for everyone, and you can't own water when it's moving. Like,
right.
it changes so fast. So why can you own the waterway?
I might be thinking about this in reverse. So are we trying to privatize
Yes.
river streams?
Yes.
But what's her? She's in the. I feel like she would even
Well,
be
it's
in the
not
wrong
okay.
camp to support this. So I need some context.
It's not her directly, but it's people that align with her thoughts that are in the state
Still,
in our state Congress doing ridiculous things that make no sense.
I just need to understand the context because even still, it doesn't seem like something they would
Oh,
normally support.
now I can actually tell you the context. I know exactly where it all began. It actually began over in Thomaston, Georgia, where the Flint River, which is a river, the only river in the state that does not have a dam.
Not to be associated with the poisoned water supply in Flint, Michigan.
It is the only river in our state that was never dammed and will never be dammed per decree of Jimmy Carter. Fuck that guy too. But that's one good thing that he did. And so that river was never been dammed, and some hoity-toity bitch from California, or not from this state, moved down there and bought a piece of property on that river, and that's a very, very, very popular river that all of us go play on. And
so, what is she funneling money into the General Assembly to try to get this shit passed?
Correct, because she's tired of seeing hooligans on their floats and boats go past her house. She moved to the country for peace.
It's still peaceful, and it sounds like it would be more peaceful if this bitch went back where she came from.
That's right. Take your ass out of the state because we go play on the river. I don't care what you pass. You ain't about to stop river rats. I'm telling you right now.
We're going to Bruin. That's the bottom line. Because Neptune said so.
I mean, I will float right past your house, and so. But that makes me wonder about people, and sometimes, I find their alignments awfully interesting in the things that they believe. So especially seeing people on both sides of the thing. And this brings me to something that I shared with the group last night, and I totally shared with you. And I know you've been working on what your thoughts are.
I've been thinking about. Bring the meme up. I need to see it again. Okay, can you zoom in on this a little bit?
Let's see what I can do. I believe I can, but let me.
Yeah, the magnifying glass down at the bottom. Yeah,
magnifying glass.
Bottom right corner.
Bottom right, right there.
There we go. All right, let's zoom that in. Yeah, that should be about good.
Let me adjust down a little bit.
Yeah. So in some ways, I actually do agree with this.
Okay.
And I'll explain why. So there's always been this kind of weird thought alignment that the further to the right you go, you kind of get your weird ultra nationalist zealots and shit like that. And you see Instagram pages like Tard West, and I call them that on purpose because I think they're just a bunch of nonsense fucking morons just espousing pro-Europa nonsense for no fucking reason.
Don't let the liberal media tell you how to feel. If you have hate in your heart, let it out.
And then more in the middle and going further to the you come across I guess modern politicians, or at least what we understand in the US as being left leaning, because again, I've done a lot of kind of just trying to understand how European politics work. Our understanding of left and right wing politics in the US is completely opposite of how Europe views right and left wing politics. And there's still a bunch of overlap. We've talked, Jimmy, you and I have talked at length before about my belief in horseshoe theory, that if you look at the left and the right side of Democrats and Republicans, eventually they meet in the middle because they ultimately agree on more than they disagree. It is only in the framing devices that they use to convey their lines of thought to the public is what separates them. And then I view this this political compass here. I see the accuracy of this is that people pushed further to the right are literally just leaning on freaking religious tropes to kind of act like they're some sort of pariahs for the natural order. I guess libertarian left, secular wagey. That's pretty much on the nose. Basically, it's indicative of everyone in the U.S. who is not outright an anarchist, and libertarian right for what that means. Yeah, it is an oxymoron in my view, because it's literally just trying to copy paste authoritarian left or libertarian left, and there's not much. It's just libertarian right in the very sense of it all is not a thing whatsoever. I feel like. And this is exactly why I just want to take this political chessboard and flip the fucking thing upside down, set it on fire, and shoot it.
Oh my lord! Well, I mean,
anyway, that's the rant over. That's pretty much my thoughts on that.
I can agree on the fact that the that box up there on the top left hand side, like, I pretty much see them all as like the same neocon kind of friggin' group that's been around since obviously prior to JFK, because they needed to kill him to continue doing what they were doing. And it's been going on for a long time. I'm always the first guy to jump on the bus of, fuck Abraham Lincoln. That dude was a terrible tyrant, one of the most tyrannical presidents in the history of the United States. You can go back and look at all of his decrees and all the things that he was doing, and people are like, oh, it's because he was trying to fight the central banks. And it's like, no, he wasn't, because everything he did literally led to the ushering in of the central bank system. And him trying to centralize and unify the states and everything like that. And it seems like it's been going down the same path. And when you look in history at other nations or other groups or big empires that eventually popped, like they all seem to have one thing in common, and that is when it's all on fire and burning down, kind of like I think it is now, it goes into complete chaos mode where they're just passing any and every arbitrary little thing that they can to make every literal person a criminal, so that they can just do with this. Yeah. So that they can just do as they please with them, like that, and as speaking of doing as they please with them, that is something else I had on the table for this evening is guess what, buddy? We totally made ourselves into yet another list. Apparently, let's see, I want to pull it up so that I can read it. Apparently, the federal government has been, of course, illegally surveying and building profiles for us in a secret portal known as DSAC. Like D's nuts, I figure. And, for people who oppose things like firearm restrictions and which of course I do, any gun law is an infringement. All 200,000, I believe, is something that currently exist, are all completely infringements and shouldn't exist. Lockdowns, mandates, and border security. Now, I know
that was a weird one, because I read that one both ways, saying easing restrictions on border control and then tightening restrictions on border control. So that one confused me a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, this feels like an extension of what started in 2020 during the Virginia rally and the awareness of the Theraflu movement. I'll just call it that, just because I feel like using the word boogaloo was overrated at this point.
I mean, they ruined that for us, man.
So it's like, so can you zoom in on this any further, or is that as far as it goes? I'm trying to read some of these bullet points.
Oh, if you'd like, I'll read them. So this is, I'll go back. So there's certain words that I'm not going to say, because it does have it kind of like broke down. This is apparently the login to the DSAC portal. And it says that the potential for shifts in various policies. Many DVEs may perceive to oppose or threaten their ideological goals and agendas or feed into existing narratives. Many DVEs subscribe to regarding the U.S. government's exercise of power, influence, and initiatives, possibly including firearm legislation, the easing of immigration restrictions, and new limits on the use of public land.
Well,
And there's also
I know which category I fell into if I wound up on this list.
I was about to say the same thing. And I'm not going to read the second one just because it's an automatic flag, but we're going to move on to the second page where it says number 2, lone actor, homegrown violent extremism indicators. So apparently being somebody that frequents outdoor supply stores and purchasings at shooting ranges, frequent cash deposits of unknown origin, frequent ATM withdrawals and wire transfers, sudden account closing and asset liquidations, life insurance policy purchases, transportation charges such as bus tickets, rental cars, plane tickets for travel in areas with no apparent purpose, purchases that appear excessive or unusual for a hobbyist, the purchase of precursor chemicals, fireworks, and potential, boom making equipment. And the purchase of books, including religious texts, donations to promote radicalism, like just all kinds of nonsense, like as normal. Like, of course, I see this as just another further extension of the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
You know, that
and you know what? I'm at a point now. I feel like this is good a time as any, just to bring public awareness. Not like a lot of people didn't already know this, anyways. But everyone out there should know that your telecom service company, your internet service providers, openly and willingly will comply upon request, with or without a warrant, if so directed by Department of Homeland Security, Federal Bureau of Investigation, or any other federal law enforcement entity that may request as needed, allegedly, and I use air quotes around that. For the purpose of
I can add to your little thing here some good news for you that I don't think you recall hearing this past week, but apparently the Speaker of the House was the deciding vote, and they don't need warrants to do stuff online like that anymore.
Yeah, well, that doesn't surprise me at all. So, mind your methods is the larger takeaway from that. There are plenty of ways to get around this out there. And until such time that they start curtailing further initiatives, which getting burner phones is still a thing, and I encourage people to do that. If you have anything that might even look remotely suspicious, if you're just trying to live a normal life, like Luis says, is being a criminal now. Handle your business offline as much as possible.
Well, and if you do have a computer and you do enjoy doing things on a computer, as I do, you can always have this one file that's, a couple gigs large and you title it something cool, like how to make a nuclear reactor or something, just title it something really, really fun and make it hours upon hours upon hours of something like hentai or furry porn, because your agent is going to have to watch every last minute of it to make sure there isn't actually nuclear reactor instructions in there.
Now that reminds me of the meme I made a couple years ago. Thank you for reminding me of that, because I completely forgot where it was how to make a non-approved ATF device that they don't like, but it's actually just Gwyneth Paltrow talking about vagina candles.
Dude,
so that's
that's the only thing I can do is, you want to know what they want to do this. They want to start labeling us and stuff like that. Let's have some fun with it, because they're going to eventually get tired of having to dig through, 300 hours of hentai. Hardcore hentai.
In these cases, the only thing we really can do realistically is just, if they're going to spy on us and try to bully us, the only thing we can do is just bully them.
I plead the fifth.
No reverse party.
Just Udo reverse it. That's all we could do is just play games back. Especially because you got geniuses out here that run off at the mouth and say things like, like our what's that one dude that pudding brain guy that's currently supposed to be in charge, and he's out here running around, can't even say things right, says things like,
by the way, the same stable genius that said the biggest problem we had in the Revolutionary War is we didn't have enough airports.
Or, as you said it best earlier, I think, in the group chat about the ice cream cone.
Yeah, so an orange, a worm, and an ice cream cone walking through a bar. And, yeah, what's up with this deal too? By the way, I heard about Biden going to debate Trump, but this is the one with RFK. I don't know a whole lot about it. That's the first I'm hearing about that.
Okay, so Donald Trump is apparently going to be at the LP convention. He got invited and accepted. And RFK is also going to be at the LP convention. And apparently he has challenged Donald Trump to a debate at the LP convention. And I guess there isn't a confirmation yet, but everybody's pretty sure that it's going to happen because I guess Donald Trump doesn't say no to a debate. And then you've also got Pudding Brain agreeing to debate with Trump. But he's got a whole ass list of things that they can and cannot do for the for said debate.
Wait, so like they have talking points and they have a script?
It's not a hold on. It was I shared it a little bit earlier in our group chat. Let me see if I can get back down to it. There's been a whole thing about him. Oh my gosh. So Biden agreed, which of course got the internet we're all like railed up and like, oh yeah, there's going to finally be a debate because for some reason, everybody wants to see Mango Mussolini and a guy who probably actually shits his pants stand up on stage and talk gobbledygook to each other for 20 minutes, I guess, before they probably cut the cameras. I mean, let's be real. Biden can't even walk upstairs, let alone have a tangible conversation with someone.
It's going to be for as ADHD as we have already seen the wide berth of what those two can do on stage separately.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So, but Biden has put a fine print in the debate challenge. There can be no live audience. RFK Jr. is banned from the premises. That's an odd thing to say. Trump's mic must be muted when Biden is speaking. It can only be hosted by NPR, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, or CBS, and it has to be moderated by somebody from like his personal cabinet, Biden's.
I mean, I don't even like Trump like that, but why would he put that many stupid things on this? Like, what the fuck? I don't know, man. No, but okay, we've already seen though. I mean, and to be absolutely fair here, I don't think muting Trump's mic is going to do much to curtail the fact that he already talks so goddamn loud that he's going to still be heard, even if his mic has been muted for this. So here's the funny thing though. As broad as we get with our ADHD nonsense, this is literally going to be a 1 hour circus of nothing but nonsensical ramblings that amount to nothing at all.
$700 billion and $1,300 billion.
Stack spaghetti sauce on top of it.
Well, and then on the other side of the thing, you're just going to keep hearing
China
all the time. All the time.
Yeah, so I mean, and I'm looking at both of it, and in my head, honestly, you want to know what I'm thinking?
Damn it, monster! Get off my lawn! I ain't giving you no $350.
Because, like, honestly, like this is what years. This is what generations and generations and generations of voting for the lesser of two evils has brought us. Like, that is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
Two baby boomers with fucking dementia going at each other's throats, talking nonsense for an hour.
I mean, it's I don't know, America. We can do so much better. And back to like when we were talking about stuff earlier, like just we need to quiet quit. Like stop paying your taxes, people. Stop doing things for the government. Like just stop. Just let's pretend they're not there. And I dare them to try to send them. Like the only thing we got to worry about when they decide to send them is they'll literally probably like send all these police that everybody loves because that's what they like to do is send the popo to do their business.
Mm.
Like, but I guess the funny thing with that is I believe you shared this video in the group the other day. Let's see if I can find it real quick. It was kind of good. Like, is that it right there? It is. And speaking on this subject, I guess this is kind of just how I feel all cops react pretty much all of the time. Like, I guess correct me if I'm wrong, but it doesn't matter the situation. You're still going to get this kind of reaction when it comes to cops. Like,
the police.
Yeah.
Call
Yeah.
fucking exorcist.
Like, why are we not playing? Oh, there it goes. Nope. Of course, it's not going to play for me because I'm trying to do this. Nope. Yeah, see, it's not going to play. Dang it. Of course, when I want something to play, it never works. But this was that video that you had sent in the group.
It's just like it just made me laugh.
It does, and I was hoping to make everybody else laugh with it too, because it's funny to watch them curl up and run as they do. Like, these are questions that I really have, like, and this is probably why my wife doesn't let me go to the little questionnaires when I see like local politicians trying to do things, because I have the good hard questions like, what are we going to do about the militarizing of police? Like, why are we militarizing our neighbors against each other? Like our local police, they shouldn't be a militarized force against the people that exist. What are we doing about the fact that a house that probably cost my grandparents like 20 to 40,000, why is it $400,000 now?
Wait a minute.
And
I have to see if I can. I keep going for a second. I want to see if I. That's a great point. It actually ties back to the beginning of this for a minute. But hang on one second. I'm going to see if I can find something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Be right back.
Yeah, go ahead. But like, and then of course, the outrageous amounts of everything. Thanks, Obama. The outrageous amounts of everything else, and this also goes back to things we were talking about early in the show about all these companies just being in it and out for profit, while literally everybody else is drowning. I remember a time. Maybe I'm on the butt end of a time because me and Bandit joke about us peaking in the 90s, but like I seem to remember a time, or at least remember hearing of a time, when America's goal was to make everything more accessible, more affordable for Americans. Like, just like you were building things to last, you were doing things the proper way and such like that. And now, like, things are built to fall apart, and everybody else's pockets have to be padded before anything's corrected or moved forward with. Our roads are in shambles. All of our politicians, even down to a local level, are corrupt as shit. And like, it's getting unbearable. Like, there's a lot of people getting uncomfortable. I hear the rustles in the fields. Like, it can't continue for much longer, and the bubble has to pop. I know Bandit likes to say they're going to keep kicking the can down the road for a really long time, but I don't know. I think I might live to see something, whether it be a national divorce or something like that, because people are getting sick and tired of this nonsense. And they sure as hell don't want to deal with, as you said earlier, basically two geriatric morons up on stage trying to figure out if they're even still alive while they're up there talking. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's ridiculous. I'm totally against voting. I say y'all quit taking part in the stuff. Quit pretending that these people actually care about you. Most of them aren't even like from this area. They're transplants and shit, especially in Georgia. We've had so many come in since Hollywood moved over here that it's become a ridiculous thing. That's why Atlanta itself has become blue and the rest of the state's not. Like, I don't know.
I
What's that?
almost have it here. Just hang tight for me for just 1 moment. I'm working on it.
It's no worries. The empire and its military is the base of our current. 100%. The militarization stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't care about what's going on at Mars. I'm not 100% worried about galaxies far, far away. I'm honestly not worried about what's going on in the other side of the ocean. I'm worried about what's going on in my area, in my town, I guess my country in general, because like it's just getting absolutely redonkulous out here. Like the when we joke about talking about clown world, like it's reality. It's the honks are coming so fast, I can't even keep up with the honks anymore. Like I'm kind of glad that I'm semi-retired from making memes and internet content because I don't know if I can keep up with it anymore. It's just I don't know. It's just to a point where the minute you make a meme or the minute you come across something good and fun, it's already on to the next one. Like Pedro. Like earlier today, instead of having a little meme, I used a popular meme that I found online, and couldn't get them out of my head. I think that's something I'm going to do moving forward. Y'all see whatever cool popular meme I find of the week to open the show like that because it's kind of neat. So, how's it coming there, Neptune?
Give me 1 second. I found it. I'm trying to.
He found it. The modern day Rome with lead pipes. So, the Metal Gear Solid universe, but on meth. Because that's pretty much where I see us being at.
Yeah.
I know you'd probably agree, Luis. Which I appreciate you being out there, keeping on watching us with us, Luis. I see a couple people on here this evening in a couple different places. So once again, thank you so much, everybody out there, wherever you're watching, whether it be Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey, or YouTube. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Of course, I can't say thank you enough. Because shoot, we've been going nice and strong now for quite a few years, and I like having fun and having these conversations. I feel I'm talking about the stuff nobody else wants to talk about, and I'm always down to talk about it. Adderall? No, I'd probably like. I mean, that's the same thing though, isn't it? Louis, like Neptune back, right? Adderall, meth, same difference.
More or less.
Yeah, pretty much. One just, I guess one just helps you not lose as many teeth. Maybe. Wait, down here it's a legitimate problem. Like out in the middle of the country, you'll come across it pretty frequently. And it's the government's fault too. Like today's modern meth is totally the fault of the government and regulation and changing things. Like, I'll be real with you. You probably won't believe me, but your grandma, the only reason she could take care of the whole household as efficiently as she did is she was totally doing crank. Like, she was probably sprinkling it in her coffee. This is a legit thing. I know plenty of them that were like, and that was the original idea of where modern methamphetamine comes from. This modern stuff though is totally made out of like PCP and stuff though, so that's why it's driving everybody insane. And it's all because the government went after the like main ingredients of like Sudafed and stuff like that. I don't know. It's a whole elaborate thing there. It seems that every time the government steps in to make things better, they just make things worse. And why people keep begging for more government to make things better out of the problems they created, I'll never be able to wrap my brain around because it's just absolute craziness.
Sorry for the troubleshooting. I'm almost done here.
I'm excited.
I made this a while ago, but it's an absolute must that I get this one because it's too good not to share.
You should be able. I don't know what you're hooked up to, but you should be able to share screen if you want to, or you can just send it over.
I will share my screen in just a moment when I got it ready.
All right. Ephedra, yeah, that's part of the stuff that made the original crank. Like, speed of our grandparents' day isn't the meth of today. Like, they're two different things. And I'm not like trying to encourage drugs, but I'm just saying like the reality of things. A lot more people use weight loss and gave you energy. Yeah. Oh yeah, it did all kinds of stuff. But you got if I'm not mistaken, didn't they claim it killed somebody or some shit like that? I'm not 100% caught up. I don't remember exactly, but I just know that their interference, like in many things, like even tobacco, like what they've done to tobacco, what they've done to alcohol and their regulations and standards and stuff like that is why I'm against the legalization of weed. Like I'm absolutely not for it. I'm for decriminalization. Like I don't think that people should be persecuted for something that totally would grow naturally in a lot of places. But yeah, and then this nonsense. I don't know if you caught that recently, Neptune, or anybody out there, about Biden being like, "Oh, we're gonna finally get the DEA to change it to from Schedule 1." And I'm just like, y'all are just trying to reach for votes as hard as you can. The police unions will never let you change it from Schedule 1 because that's how they get access to do whatever they want to treat you with, especially in the state of Georgia. That's why they fought it so hard and made it to where it's like 2028 before they can even talk about it again through legislation. It seems to be the only thing that goes on with legislation. Good Lord.
Stupid thing's trying to ruin my fun.
What's that?
This video I'm trying to recover from my Instagram account that I made a while ago.
Gotcha. Well, I guess on a side note, while you wait, have you you heard that it's official? Iran totally does have nuclear weapons.
Did not see that. No.
Yeah, apparently, the other day, an Iranian lawmaker declares that I can't pronounce it right, but Tehran obtained nuclear bombs. This comes out of like Fox News. I'm not sure where they obtained them from. I mean, you can have your guesses. I would probably say some kind of CIA patsy, but like that's just my perspective. So I mean, we declared already that the Cold War never stopped. Like,
Yep.
it just continued in secrecy. That's why
Indeed it did.
that's why there's weapon manufacturers all over the Middle East and weird CIA groups that pop up every couple of years. Like, how many times has the Taliban or ISIS or Hamas, or like how often does it change? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It seems like every time you turn around, it's a different extremist group. And the funny thing is that a lot of them seem to be something that we've armed or trained or something like that. It's just awfully funny to always see these terrorist groups and American surplus weapons and vehicles and such. Like it's a super strange thing from my perspective.
Yeah.
It's like where did these guys get those weapons to begin with? Why aren't we asking these kind of questions instead of worrying about whatever celebrities doing something? Apparently, celebrities have gone into. This was something I just learned actually earlier this afternoon. It's a trending thing right now to start blocking and unfollowing celebrities, which I'm okay with. Like that's totally a thing people should do. I encourage it if that's actually something you're choosing to do. But it's a big thing that's been going on the past few days, and maybe it'll continue since we've got all this crazy nonsense going out, and you got Diddy and his clan and Drake and his clan diddling. Like that's what it seems to be doing. Epstein Island 2.0. Like, but this time Diddy and Oprah are doing it. Like, that's what it looks like from my perspective right now. Everything that's coming out. And then poor Drake got set on fire by Kendrick, and he got set on fire so hard from Kendrick that he's selling all of his American-owned properties and deporting himself back to Canada. I mean,
okay,
bravo.
I ain't gonna lie. That's funny as hell.
Right? Bravo. Kendrick just deported Drake back to Canada. Like, I never liked the dude to begin with. I from the day that I heard he was making music, I'm like, wait, why is Jimmy from Degrassi making music? Like, I didn't understand.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that's funny as hell. I finally got it to work.
Hooray!
Give me 1 second, and I will pull it up. I'm just waiting on it to get here locally to my machine. Once it does, it's just working on right now.
I found some really, I guess, in waiting while we're going on. I apologize for all folks that are have been checking out the website. I know it's a little slacking right now. I'm still trying to work out how to use this one. It's a little stressful. I'm gonna figure it out eventually. Maybe I can sweet talk Neptune here into sweet talking his old lady into helping me out, because I know she knows how to do stuff like that. Because I have had some challenges, but we are working on that so that you guys can get in contact with all of our fantabulous friends in Liberty. I'm even trying to look at this new guy that I'm going to go ahead and plug, because he's doing something really cool. He's created his own new card game, and ironically, it's called Plunder, and it's like a conspiracy-based card game. I've been checking it out on his page, and I'm hoping to get my hands in, since he's looking for some sponsorship stuff, and be in on that, because that's right up my alley, and I already want to invest in it because it looks super cool. And we like our card games. Of course, I am going to skip Cards Against Humanity tonight, because I don't think Sheba down here is going to be very good at playing with us, unfortunately. But I do appreciate you joining us tonight, Sheba. You have been a fantastic guest. Your perspective on things have been super amazing, and I couldn't ask for a better side little gig here. So I hope you're doing well over there in Japan. Neptune's finally got his video ready, so here we go.
Let me know if you can hear the sound that goes with it.
All right.
Yeah. Blue line is household income, red is rent price. Freeze on me.
Good Lord.
Sorry for the low buffering right there, but
it's okay.
Yeah, if you got the picture of that, yeah, that's household income versus rent price from 1990 through 2023. So yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like they keep trying to tell us to pull up our bootstraps, but it's not about pulling up our bootstraps. It's about the fact that they basically ruined everything with their nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
Especially my favorite are especially these house flippers and realtors. House flippers and realtors. Like, no offense, Luis, but a lot of I know you do some stuff in realty or whatever, but these guys that are going out there and have bought up a bunch of these properties, and then they end up selling them to other buyers and stuff like that. 9 times out of 10, BlackRock's who the person who ends up with them at the end of the day. That's why we have so many corporations owning all of these vacant houses and stuff like that. It's so nuts. And like you're saying down there, the ratio to buy a home and stuff like that, it's redonkulously hard. And the only thing that I can recommend to anyone to do is look into getting USDA loans, because it's about the only way you're getting your hands on anything right now, because the banks are just off the fucking chain, and you can get all kinds of cool grants to go into some rural areas where nobody's around off these USDA loans. I've finally been moving forward on some of that stuff myself, actually, because it seems to be the only route I'm going to be able to go.
West Virginia is still trying to pay people to move to West Virginia if they have a remote working job in another state, too.
Really?
That's still a thing.
Well, I mean, West Virginia is one of those promising type places. I'm a fan of Tennessee. I like Georgia, but man, it's starting to get a little hard down here. And then me and Bandit always joke, Missouri's probably got to be the freest state left in the country, and they even hate 3-letter agencies. They don't, their sheriff's departments.
They're the ones that straight up stated they would not be enforcing any edicts that ATF or DEA came at them with.
And that's what we need more of. That's what I encourage for, every time I hear somebody talk about, our sheriff's a constitutional sheriff. No, he's not. Is he working with the DEA? Is he working with the ATF? Is he working with the FBI? Well, he's working with treasonous dirtbags, and you can go up the river with your nonsense that you're trying to convince me with. Like, it's gotten to the point that it's starting to make even the average Joes uncomfortable, I think, and people. It's not going to be long before we start seeing something. Like, the rest of this year is going to be super interesting being an election year, that's for sure.
Oh, the memes are going to be absolute fire.
The memes are already off the chain, so I can't wait to see how much more it gets.
Yeah.
So, Neptune, is there any other final words or anything else you got for us this evening? We're not, like I said, we're not going to play Cards Against Humanity, but I do want to recommend everybody go check out Plunder. You can find him over there on Instagram. He's an up and coming card game, and I think he's going to be something that everybody's into.
So I think the only thing else I could say concerning this little terrorist watch list that they're putting together is, if I am asked how much I trust the federal government, I say this: I would sooner shit in my hands and clap. And that's all I have to say for tonight.
Fair. Shiba, you got anything for us from Japan before you partake from leaving us this evening? No, pretty silent fellow. Well, I do
The Industrial Revolution
you.
and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
There it is. Opening in and ending. You know, I appreciate you, Shiba, for joining us this evening, and I look forward to you coming back, of course, as well. So good night. And of course, Neptune, thank you so much for joining me this evening, man. It's been a blast. I love all of our nonsense, of course, as usual. I know there's more that we could talk about and more that we could go on with, but, you know, I think this is a good place to bring it for the evening because we have covered a lot of ground and there's more to even cover. Me and Neptune are totally going to try to work out something where Bandit can join us, maybe even Luis, where we can have a conversation about a certain hand rubbing situation that started a really long time ago. And it's probably going to get us in trouble, but, you know, it'd be worth talking about because more people should be educated on these kind of things. You know what I'm talking about, don't you there, Neptune? No?
Do I ever?
And, you know, maybe our next episode, we can get into some stuff about that. I really would like to. So you guys out there, please encourage on the page for Bandit to get his stuff together. And even if he's got to join us by phone to join us, because, you know, you can still be here, buddy. It's okay. And that goes for the rest of the crew that's out there. I know you guys are out there. And I know you guys are all hard working, but hey, man, set aside a few minutes and come join us for some of these evenings. As these wonderful people that come and watch us do, we thank you guys so much. We cannot thank you guys enough because you're the only reason that we're still doing this nonsense and still moving forward with the ridiculous clown world nonsense that we get into every time we set sail right here on Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. Make sure you check out unconstitutionalawakening.com for some upcoming stuff. Maybe this summer we're going to have some stuff going down because we're all in chats about trying to find ways to get together, and who knows, maybe you guys will get to see an episode
we'll get a live one together one of these days.
What I'm saying, who knows? Maybe we'll all be sitting on the couch together later this summer for a live one because I've had not only Luis but as well as Bandit tell me that they're probably heading back down to Georgia at some time this year. So fingers crossed that it works out and that does happen because it'd be great. So, but you know, I've always got to leave everybody with something absolutely ridiculous. So, Neptune, what's the difference in a fridge and a butthole?
No idea.
The fridge doesn't fart when you pull the meat out. Good night, everyone.
Mm-hmm.